Welcome back to Bad Attitude C10. Today we're going to cover the switch panel and board that we'll be installing in our truck from Speedwire system. Now the stuff I'm about to unbox and share with y'all is actually stuff that Gil and the guys from Speedwire had sent me about a decade ago to use in the Camaro build that we were doing in RPM magazine after my accident. Now, Speedwire was one of the first companies that offered to help after my accident when they found out about us doing the car build. And this is one item that I kind of hung on to for over a decade. And the cool thing about it is ideal for what I'm going to be doing with the Bad Attitude C10 truck as far as being a drag and drive truck. So one of the cool things that Speedwire offers is when it comes to your switch panel and your relay boards, they will do one-off applications. So you can tell them how many switches, what style switch, what positions, and so on, and make it unique to your ride. Now they give you all the isolator, and back at the time when I got my kit, they offered these roll bar mounts as an option. So I got the 1 5/8 one, and they're really cool because the mounting tabs that are on your switch panel fit. So this will allow you to mount your panel directly to your roll cage if it's 1 5/8. The only thing that you don't have are the wires to wire in from point to point. Now the relay boards themselves is the same thing. It's made for your application and they label it and tailored to your needs as so be it, whether it's a drag car, a boat, dirt truck, or whatever. They include a mega fuse to be used on the main power source wire as well, and it needs to be there for protection of your panel or your board, whichever way you want to say it. Now the instructions are pretty much just laid out kind of like a schematic or a diagram and gives you some pertinent information that you may need, and they show you how to wire in the mega fuse and everything else. Now when it comes to the wiring from the switch panel down to your relay board, they include this data cable is what I would call it, but it almost looks like something that would actually go on your computer. So it's going to plug in and it has 2 retaining screws and everything else. So all the wiring from the switch panel box itself to your relay board, it's already done. So that's one step that's complete that you don't even have to touch. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this out and mock some stuff together, and we're going to put 12 volts to this board, and we're going to run through some of the functions and show you a few things about it. Now when it comes to the relay board, as you can tell, there's a row of fuses up here, and you have a negative and a positive input. So we're going to go ahead and hook them up, and then the relays are for each of the outputs, which are terminals that are studded and do have nuts to retain them. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this cable from our switch panel up, and then we'll go from there. Now as you can see, the board is powered up using a 12-volt battery. So you have an indicator row of lights for all the fuses, and then you also have indicators down below for your relay outputs. So if you notice all the amber lights above, that's showing that the fuses are functioning and they have power available. Now I just turned on the ignition switch, and you can notice there's a little green light down here that lights up that shows that the ignition is on, and each time I hit the start button, the light comes on indicating that the power is going to the starter. Now this row down here with the green lights is showing you that the relay power is going out to whatever the function is that you're flipping the switch to. So on the switch panel, you have lights on each toggle switch, excluding the starter, that show you when that function is on and that it should be powering up the device. So I'm going to go ahead and put this light off, because LED light kind of messes with stuff, and that way you could see what you would be seeing actually in the car. so that doesn't have real bright lighting, that is. So all the top row is lit up amber, and the lights going out from the relays you can see on the bottom are lit up in green. And each time we flip a function on a toggle switch, it actually has an indicator light showing that switch is turned on. Now, one thing that you have to realize is if we were to have a fuse out, it would actually go from an amber light to a red light as shown here. Now I'm going to try to give you a different view of it right here. So if you have a function that is not working correctly and you look at your panel and there's a red light under the fuse, that's letting you know the fuse is blown. So replace the fuse and see what happens. Now, just another thing to pay attention to is if you were to have a bad relay. So I'm going to remove this relay right here, which is a 5-pin relay, and these guys are in pretty snug, and then I'm going to show you. So using the headlight and the park light switch, which is going to be a position for just a park if you push down, and if you push up, it'll light up the headlights as well. So if I removed the relay for the headlights, as you can see, the park lights were on, and now I have the headlight and park light. You can still see the green indicator light for the park light. The indicator light is amber on the fuse for the headlights, but there is no green light for the headlights. Now, if you notice, once I reinstall the relay, the green light comes back on and shows us that circuit is correct. Now remember guys, this pretty much helps us troubleshoot in the driver's seat if you can see your board. So if you have fuse power and you have output power, you're pretty much going to be able to see that you need to troubleshoot from your board to the end if you have some other failure. But as far as troubleshooting the switch panel, the board, and everything like that, this system from Speedwire makes it a no-brainer, dude. Anyone can look like a good troubleshooter using this system. So there you have it. The reason why I'm going to be using the Speedwire system switch panel and board. And to learn more about the products that Gil and the guys at Speedwire Systems have, visit them at speedwiresystems.com. And this system I have, like I said, is a decade old, but still has the diagnostic and troubleshooting capabilities that a lot of others don't. Now we'll cover more information about our switch panel and board from Speedwire during the install.